ball floated in, left for Walker, and it's finished over the top.
City are going to move up to 54 points.
Wonderful stuff from Alexander Kolarov to cap the game off. A solo run and a solo drive. Immensely powerful shot from the left foot of Alexander Kolarov. Through the defence, tight angle, into the top right-hand corner.
Zinchenko. Trying to get that out from under his feet.
Silva helps it on its way. Tries to set up the shot, which finds its way into the net. Riyad Mahrez with the goal. He came on right at the end of the first half, and he is the player who breaks the deadlock early in the second period. Led by Silva. Mahrez rolls the ball into the net, beating Artur Boruc.
Bruyne. Watch for Navas.
Plays it over, the header by Aguero finds its way in. 3-0 to City. An excellent opening 18 minutes for the boys in blue.
Forward line for City, taking Bournemouth apart. Aguero has no right to win that header.
And the ball floated in, left for Walker, and it's finished over the top. Confusion there in the City defence. It was Otamendi who chested it down. Ederson went for it, and it's Ederson who actually gets the last touch on that. Blocking the ball out for a corner.
Silva. Quickly, and here's the other Silva. Gabriel Jesus. Smart thinking from Manchester City, and the scores are level here in Dean Court. Quickly taken free kick. Lovely through ball, and Gabriel Jesus is on the phone home. It's 1-1 here on the south coast. Exactly what Manchester City needed, a quick equaliser, and it comes through, has to be said, really quick thinking.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Matchday Live. Today, the Blues are on the south coast to face Bournemouth in the Premier League 5:30 kickoff. After last weekend's disappointing draw away at Forest, we are looking to bounce back with a win, and all the signs are looking good as we have an incredible Premier League record against the Cherries. Get this, we've met them 11 times in the Premier League. We've won 11 of them, 100% record, which is the best win rate in the Premier League's history. Oh no, I really am hoping that I have not jinxed us here. The goals have flowed for Pep's side in this fixture with 34 scored. That equals out to just over 3 goals per game. Now you'll remember, of course, that Erling Haaland blanked in the home tie earlier this season, so I am sure that he will be looking to get on the score sheet today. And I'm going to give you the team news the second that I am allowed. Welcome to Matchday Live. Thank you so much for joining us again for today's game against Bournemouth. And you know what? I'm going to give you that team news even, right now. So here is your starting 11 for City's game against Bournemouth. And it is Ederson, and Rico Lewis returns to the starting 11. He's joined in the back there by Akanji, Diaz and Ake. And then, moving into midfield, we've got Rodri, Captain Gundogan, Phil Foden back in the starting 11, Jack Grealish, A start for Julian Alvarez and, of course, that man, Erling Haaland. On the subs bench, it is Ortega, Carson, Walker, Phillips, De Bruyne, Silva, Gomez, Mahrez and Peroni. So that is your City starting 11 and your City bench for today's game. 5:30 kickoff against Bournemouth. Matchday Live is always the first place to get your team news. Hopefully we're going to have lots and lots of goals in the game today and lots of great discussion in the studio because we are joined by, I reckon, our most diverse panel of guests that we've ever had on Matchday Live, and I absolutely love it. Paul Dickov, you're back.
I'm back. I've been here since Wednesday night, I think. I decided not to go home. Just slept on the sofa.
You've got a new top on, though. I've noticed. That's very nice. We're both matching. I'm matching with Paul Dickov. I absolutely love it. And then on the other sofa, we're joined by Stephen McInerney. Welcome.
Hello. How are you doing?
Are you okay?
I'm excited. I was confident until you mentioned that stat about the winning streak.
I'm sorry.
Please. It didn't happen, you know. No, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. I'm looking forward to today.
And you have a nice new top on as well, I know.
Yeah, I do. Cheers, City. It's lovely, isn't it?
Jazzy. Very nice.
I'm enjoying the retro stuff. It's really nice.
Very nice.
I do like the hoodie as well.
And then we are also joined, making her debut on the sofa today. Love it. I love people that make debuts. I love it when we have women on the show as well. So I'm very excited by professional MMA fighter Dakota Ditcheva.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you so much for coming along. We're so excited. We're going to, a little bit later in the show, we're going to find out a bit more about your career and your connection with City. But how are you feeling ahead of today's game?
I'm confident, you know. Obviously, like you just read off the stats, we've won 11 out of 11 with these guys, so I'm confident in the boys.
Good. I'm glad you are confident because I don't know, Stephen, I'm not. How are you feeling ahead of the game?
Oh, no. I'm sort of mixed. No, I think I am, actually. I think I am feeling pretty good about today. I've got a good feeling, you know. Yeah. We'll get onto the team news in a bit, but let's see how we line up, I guess, because it's going to be interesting to see what Pep does.
Yes, let's have a chat about that team news. Just quickly want to tell you as well that our under-18s beat Liverpool earlier today. It was 4-1, and the EDS won 5-0 today against Everton. So an absolutely cracking start to the day by the under-18s and the EDS, and hopefully the men's team will be following that up with a win a little bit later today. Right, Paul, in terms of that team news today, immediate reactions, please.
I thought after the other night there'd be a few changes. Thought Kevin might have started, but obviously his illness is on the bench. But not like it's a strong team. Obviously, Rico Lewis comes in at right back, but we know in possession he'll probably play as a centre midfielder with the three at the back. Just be interesting how they set it up front. Obviously, Haaland through the middle. Expect Alvarez to play just a little bit off him with Jack and full wide. So, but look, it's a strong team, quality players again. We
know that we play a bit differently when we're in possession and out of possession now, Stephen. But are we looking at a 4-4-2 here?
Could be. Old school. Man City going back to the 90s. I think we could be. I mean, we were sat there for about 10 minutes, weren't we, before the show, trying to work out the variety of formations it could be. And there is a chance it could be that Rico just plays as an overlapping fullback, because Kyle did it in the last game, you know. He got forward quite a bit, against Forest in particular as well, when he was overlapping. And Rico scored his first goal against Sevilla, doing that thing, you know, attacking as a fullback, which he's very capable of doing. So maybe we do. Maybe we see Rico overlapping Phil Foden on the right and Alvarez is off Haaland. And that'd be fun, because it'd be so unpepped to be so traditional, I guess, which I would quite like at the same time. So
I like that. We spend ages and we're constantly trying to work out who's playing where, and will Pep surprise us by just going
Alvarez
old
is
school?
Left back, probably. Let's be honest, you know.
Yes. In terms of that defence, so we've got Rico Lewis coming in, Dakota. We have Akanji, Ake, and Diaz. Of course, Stones and Laporte still injured. We've been blessed with incredible options in defence this season.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with Diaz coming back, I think we've got a strong back four there. Ake's had a great season, so has Akanji. So, yeah, I quite like that back four. I think we're going to be solid with them.
Diaz has been, I think he's been like almost a revelation since he's come back. I think he's a big support in the City fan base. I think it's a lot to do with him as a character as well. You know, when he's on the pitch and you see the kind of the fight in him and the passion in him, is that part of the reason why you like him?
Yeah, I think so. And you can tell that he passes it on to the other boys as well. You know, like his presence on the pitch is not just for himself, it's for everyone. And I feel like he proper gets behind all the players. So I think that definitely gives all of them a big push when we need it most.
Yeah. And you can tell he loves defending.
Yeah.
Which is a rarity nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see the way he celebrates. Whenever he makes 4 or 5 blocks, he celebrates as if he just scored a goal. You know, and I love that. I love to see that because first and foremost now, I think people want their centre-halves to be able to play out the back and look good in the ball, whereas first and foremost are defenders, and that's what he does, and that's what he brings to the team.
He makes everyone confident around him, doesn't he? I really do love Ruben Diaz. I think, I mean, he may not be the best passer or the fastest that we've got in defence, but he has that aura about him where everyone else around him just looks more confident and more supported in their roles. And some people are just naturally good at that. You know, they're natural-born leaders, and there's people that lead by example, like David Silva, for example, when he was a captain. There's people who just lead by their immense presence, you know, and their energy and their drive and that never-say die attitude. And people, City, in my opinion, were just a lot better and more comfortable when he's on the pitch. I just love him. I think he's a wonderful player, and I think we had missed him when he was, you know, out injured. I'd love to see him back.
Yeah, and hopefully he stays fit for the rest of the season as well. Big impact. So we played Bournemouth earlier this season. Do you remember? It was back in those beautiful August days when it was actually boiling hot that day. We beat them 4-0. But Erling Haaland didn't score that day, Paul. And I remember at the time people going, oh, he's not scored. And again, I like to repeat that those people probably feel really silly now.
Yeah, but I felt silly because I triple captained him that day, which was a bit of an absolute nightmare. So the one game he didn't score in. But the performance was good, and he contributed. You know, he got his assist for Gundogan's goal there. You know, you see his strength, great little touch holding them off, and you know that looks easy, the finish from Gundo there, but it's difficult. It's on his wrong side, and just before he gets it, the ball skips up a bit. So controlled in what he was doing. But look, going back to Erling not scoring in this game, we won 4-0. So it shows you that we have got goals in other places of the pitch.
A lovely finish by Ilkay Gundogan there as well, Dakota.
Very nice, yeah. Like you said, you know, it wasn't an easy ball. It's kind of off the ground, so he did well to control that in the last seconds.
Oh, and this
is sensational.
Looking at all that early season space and being envious. Do you remember back in August when everyone hadn't quite learned how to defend against City again yet? But I wouldn't be surprised, actually, by the way, if we see Alvarez doing similar to what Gundogan did there for that first goal. You know, so being close. I think Pep talked a little bit recently after the games, saying how he wants people to be a little bit closer to Haaland and around them. And he considered in the Sevilla game bringing in one of Foden or Alves to do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason he's there today, because you do need people running off him, because there's a few times where he's looked really isolated in the middle. And like, I understand that to an extent, but you do need, you know, people buzzing off him, and that's what Gundogan does really well. And Alvarez could be maybe someone to do similar today.
I think if you have got somebody like Alvarez closer to him, it doesn't just give Erling that support. Erling will always occupy the two centre-halves because of how he plays. And so it gives somebody, whether it's Alvarez or Gundo, we've seen making that third man run in the space in behind. Because the focus is always on Erling Haaland. Everybody knows that because of the goals he scored, his presence, the reputation that he's got as well. But he does so much more than score goals. You know, he drags defenders around. Every time he's on the pitch, he's constantly making runs, which if we've got players in closer around him, it's going to make space for them to get in behind.
In our last couple of games, it's probably fair to say that our dominance in possession has not been reflected in the scorelines. I'd love to see a 4-0 win, like we beat them at home again. It feels like we really need it as a kind of a bit of a boost, a bit of remembering that we are clinical, Paul. We can score 4 goals.
Yeah, we are. And look, you go back to the Forest game last week. I know a lot of people were disappointed. I think I said the other night, I genuinely believe that was one of our best performances of the season. Yeah. We just needed that little bit of luck, and then first half of the night they were excellent. But look, when you've got players in the team and on the bench that Man City have got, you are going to score goals, you know, because the quality's there to see. And I fully expect the big man to get back in the mark again today.
Have you triple captained him? Oh, no, you've already used it.
I've already used
it, yeah. Oh, no. You've still got him in your team, though?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, for the full season, of course. We've seemed to have a bit of a problem away from home, keeping clean sheets recently, Stephen. So we've not had we've conceded in each of our last 5 away games. Why do you think that is?
I wouldn't be surprised. It's just difficult, isn't it, the Premier League? I wouldn't be surprised if it's a case of City still getting used to. It's a new system, basically. We are, you know, the back 4, or the back 3, or the back 5, whatever it is. You know, it constantly changes, and that takes a little bit of time to get used to. It's possibly a necessary evil to keep everyone happy, but when you're constantly changing centre backs, constantly changing right backs and left backs, understandably there'll be a little bit of, you know, indecisiveness every now and then, I guess, and sometimes it's just the way things roll. You know, sometimes teams score their first chance against you because football just does that. You know, every now and then. But I do think it's more a case of the players getting used to a new system. Like Bernardo, of course, becoming this inverted left back, and then occasionally it's Rico, and they both can do that, of course. But you know, they're still having to get used to that transition between being on the ball and without the ball, and occasionally be the odd gap here and there. And I also think teams are just, very good, in the Premier League, and they're very capable of scoring. And to keep a clean sheet away from home in general is just very difficult in the Premier League because it's such a high level. But I'm not concerned about it as long as we start scoring more the other way. And ultimately, I think the Forest game, for example, they scored with their first shot on target, but we probably should have been 3 or 4-0 up at that point, and no one's really bothered at that point. So it's something to keep an eye on. But I do think Pep will have been working on that quite intently at training, so I expect it to end soon.
Edison's on 99 clean sheets. He's been waiting for this 100th, Dakota, for a while now. Hopefully, maybe today, he can get there. We can get it for him.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. That's the one thing I really want for City now, is for Edison to get that 100th clean sheet. I think we say it every game, it's going to be this one, it's going to be this one, and he's still waiting, bless him. But I'm hoping today's the day.
Yes. Me too.
He deserves it.
We have been saying, is this going to be the week? Is this going to be the week? So, yes, hopefully this might be the week. As always, if you would like to get in your WhatsApp questions for our guests, you can do so. The WhatsApp number will be on your screen in just a second. Get in. You've got Dakota here today. If you've got any questions about MMA, you've got Stephen if you've got any questions about YouTube. You've got Paul if you want to ask about the 1999 playoff final against Gillingham.
All day long, please.
Not a bit of theory, then, I'll be honest.
Whatever you want to ask our guests, to get them in on that WhatsApp number, and I will get through as many as I possibly can. And don't forget as well, if you haven't already, get downloading the official Manchester City app, because that is where you will get your commentary a little bit later on, and also help you get access to City Plus and Recast, where you get just a whole amazing range of documentaries and programmes about cities, and of course you get all the highlights, the under-18s, the EDS game. It's very, very worthwhile downloading that. Yep. So more WhatsApp questions, get them in for us. OK, so we're taking on Bournemouth today, 5:30 kick-off. Let's have a look now at their team for today. OK, so in goal that is Neto, Smith, Stevens, Mepham, Senesi, Zamora, Utara, Lerma, Billing, Traore and Solanke. That is your Bournemouth team for today. So one change to the team that they played when they beat Wolves last week. They had a 1-0 win there. Taverner is injured. He picked up a hamstring injury that was confirmed by Gary O'Neill in the press conference yesterday, Paul. He's probably he has been their best attacking player, although they're a team that is hugely struggling for goals. What are you making of this Bournemouth team today?
He's got a big influence on the team, Tavernier. He got the winning goal against Wolves last week, as you said. He was really, really good when they got the point against Newcastle a couple of weeks ago. But they've not got a big squad, so Gary O'Neill doesn't tend to make a lot of changes anyway. But, Dominic Solanke up front, Philip Billing in midfield, I think they're two really, really good footballers who've got a big influence in the team alongside Marcus. So, look, I think from our point of view, I think we know that they're going to sit in deep 4-5-1 and look to hit Solanke in the break and get Billing going to support them. So we're just going to have to be really patient today.
So the victory they had against Wolves, Stephen, their first victory since the World Cup, the Premier League came back after the World Cup. They've only had 3 goals in that time as well, 8 games and 3 goals, which is the lowest number of goals that's been scored in the league. They are struggling for goals at the minute. What are you making ahead of the team?
Yeah, it's one of once again my City head's going, well, today they're going to get a hat-trick, To be honest, Solanke's a good player, but he's been that exact kind of player where he bags the load in the Championship. He scores loads of goals there, and saw him score loads at youth level against his youth sides, and he's not quite taken to the Premier League, but he does obviously have that quality, because you can score like 30 goals in the Championship, you can score goals at really any level if you get a little bit of luck, and City have got to be aware of that. And I guess Bournemouth will be seeing City's defensive record, especially away from home, and seeing that as a potential opportunity, because we are conceding goals, unfortunately. Even if it's not off many chances, there is a chance to score against City, so they'll be thinking, well, keep it really tight, as Paul was saying, a break at some point and take a chance, because obviously the home crowd for them they'll be aware of City's current record, and they'll feel that they've got a chance, and they won't be playing with much fear either, because they won't be expecting too much, with all due respect to Bournemouth, because City, current Premier League champions, and it'll be a case of just sit tight, do what Forest did, and take your chance, and that's a decent game plan for them. And with Gary O'Neill and the experience that they've got now in that squad as well, they've definitely got a chance to do that. But I hope they don't.
Set pieces will be massive because they're a big team as well. You know, they've got a lot of big targets to hit from corners, from wide free kicks. So we're going to have to be on that, especially after conceding the other night there. But just going back to what you were saying about Solanke, see, I've got a thing about this, about players that can't score. They say they score goals in the Championship, but they're not good enough to do it.
He got 30 in the Championship last season, didn't he?
I know, but you look at these teams, and Fulham a couple of years ago, they were saying the same thing about Mitrovic.
Yeah.
But Fulham are an attacking team in the Championship. They all of a sudden come into the Premier League and they're massively defensive. Bournemouth were the same last year.
Yeah.
You know, they're all out attack. They come here and then they go all out defend. So it's a centre forwards, it's a strikers' union, this one. I don't necessarily blame the strikers on that.
No, I agree. I think you could score goals in the right team a little bit.
I think Mitrovic has shown that.
Yeah.
You know, Fulham this year are an attacking team and he's scoring his goals for it. Whenever they've been in the Premier League before, he's been so isolated and not getting the chances because of how the team's set up and play.
It is a huge disparity in the number of goals, obviously, and I completely understand what you're saying. 30 in the Championship last year. I think he's only got 4 so far. But, as we already said, Bournemouth are a team that are severely lacking in goals. I mean, I think Erling Haaland has scored more goals than the entire Bournemouth team have.
I think he scored more goals than most of the teams.
Well, in Chelsea, I think, which says it all.
So I do. But Solanke, he is a good player. He is a good player and we'll have to keep an eye on him.
Dakota, they're sitting just above the relegation zone at the minute. Yeah. So they're a team that are going to be fighting. You know, we are seeing it now. The draw last week. They're going to... The teams down that end of the table, they're going to fight in every game.
They are, yeah, but we are coming out with quite an attacking squad today, I think. So, you know, if we can keep possession and, you know, push forward, I don't know whether we're going to give them an option to... They're going to have to catch us on the break or something like that, which, you know, is possible. But I think with an attacking team out today, they're going to be defending quite a lot. Yeah,
if we take our chances, we should have done in the last 2 games, then we should be fine. Dakota makes a good point about is that their game plan, Paul? They're going to soak us up, try and hit us on the counter?
I would imagine so. It's like most teams when they play Manchester City. They want to defend deep and then whenever they do get the chance to get the ball to hit us and they break. And, you know, it's a good strategy to have because if you're going to come out and play a possession game against Manchester City, you're not going to win. No. You know, and you're going to get torn to bits. So they're fighting for their lives. I worry about these games a little tiny bit because Bournemouth, like Forest last week, it's a bit of a free hit for them. Yeah. As in, their season's not going to be defined by beating Manchester City. Their seasons will be defined when they're playing the teams that are in and around them. They're the big games for them. They're the big pressure games for them. Whereas today, Gary O'Neill will be saying, look, nobody's expecting us to do anything today, so just go out and enjoy it. And sometimes that can be worse.
Oh, yeah, as soon as he said that, my stomach jumped, Stephen. I hate the idea of that.
I was chatting to Naden once on my YouTube channel, and Naden made the point, like, you forget that as much as everyone obviously, playing City, it's also the most challenging game they'll play every season, so that naturally heightens your senses, and it does. It's why it's so hard to be the Premier League champions and so hard to be Man City. And I think Jack Grealish said he thought it'd be easy when he came to Man City, but he's found it more difficult of anything because, you know, Bournemouth, like, they are... Because when you know something's going to be difficult, you're more focused and more aware, naturally. And I wouldn't be surprised today if Bournemouth, they'll end up playing better than they have recently because that's what the all teams do, and that's why it always feels like, why does everyone have the best game against us? Because you have to, because you've been faced by Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, Erling Haaland. You can't get away with not being ultra-focused. So... that's why it can be frustrating as a City fan watching it sometimes. You're thinking, why are they getting beat 4-0 last week or whatever and then getting a point against us? But it's just, it comes with the territory of being a brilliant side, you know, and it's a compliment though in a way, I guess. It's a compliment. But that's why, I guess, you can't really take any game with a pinch of salt. And when they say there's no easy games, and it's genuinely true, because even though you end up winning comfortably, it could also be the hardest game of the season.
And it gives their players a chance to shine as well. I was thinking a perfect example of that would be Nathan Ake. We're going to talk about him a little bit later on. Of course, we bought him from Bournemouth. I think there's going to be an interesting match-up today between Ake and Utara out on the right, because in terms of the amount of pace that Bournemouth have in their team, he's probably one of their fastest players, Paul. Are you looking at that as a particular key match-up? Yeah,
I do. I think also Solanke up against Akanji and Diaz will be important because he's a big physical presence. But no, look, he's very, very quick and can be a bit erratic, which is dangerous sometimes as well. But Nathan, I know we're going to speak about him, he's just a fantastic defender. He knows how to defend, and, you know, he's been up against quick players a lot this season and he always seems to come out on top. So, be interesting little battles all over that. I think once we see what system we're actually playing, you know, that's when the key battles will become apparent.
Yeah. I expect he'll get a really good reception today. I'll be disappointed if the Bournemouth fans don't give him a great reception.
And they're good fans down there, and he was absolutely brilliant for them as a club captain, great servant for them, so I'm sure he'll get a good
reception. They love him, they absolutely love him, don't they? Some Bournemouth fans were saying that he's the best player in the club's history, that's how much they love him, so do I. He's great.
Yes, we love him. We're going to talk a lot more about Nathan Ake a little bit later on. So you mentioned Bournemouth just sitting above the relegation zone, Stephen. They're on 21 points. There's a few relegation-y battles happening actually over this weekend. How do you see their chances of staying up?
To be honest, they've got a lot of experience in this, you know, the fighting relegation thing, and they won't be scared to go down again because they've been there, you know, and they obviously came back under Scott Parker as well. It looks difficult for them, and I don't want to jinx it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do go down this season because it might just be that, you know, I can see Leeds or Southampton finding a bit of form potentially, but you never know. It depends if they start scoring goals. It's always about goals. The teams that tend to stay up, you know, they find someone who bags 6, 7, 8 goals. You know, it's just really useful at the end of the season. And there is question marks about that fairly. Gary Neal has done a good job, though, you know, to steady the ship post Scott Parker, but it could be difficult.
Did you know? Maybe you did. I had no idea. Gary O'Neill scored 2 goals against City back in his playing days. Yeah.
I remember, to be honest.
Here you go. Well, perfect timing, Stephen. This was back when he was playing under now England manager Gareth Southgate for Middlesbrough. This is 2018.
I so wish Nedum was here.
Oh,
what is he doing there?
Where's that infamous pace, Nedum? You know. I remember that goal, to be fair, actually. Yeah, against Middlesbrough. Yeah.
2008.
Oh,
Nedum!
What have you done?
OK, can we remember this clip for next time Nedum is on, please?
He's on his bottom there, isn't he? He's got an assist almost.
Is that an assist in FPL terms? Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I read that.
Is this the one where he went down the other end? No, that was the own goal one, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah. So yes, he has. He's got history. Look at a very young Gareth Southgate there. Oh,
little did he know how far he went.
little did he know what was coming his way. Obviously, he took over, Stephen mentioned, he took over from Scott Parker a couple of games into the season. How difficult is it as a manager to take over mid-season, especially in such a high-pressured kind of job at the wrong end of the table? I
think the fact that it was already in... He was already in the club and he was on the coaching staff would have helped because he's a really good guy, Gary. Played against him a few times, really good footballing brain. And the fact he'd been in the dressing room and been amongst the players really helps. And the players respected him because he was obviously one of Scott's assistants, but sometimes the manager needs somebody like Gary O'Neill to be the go-between between the players. The biggest problem you have got if you've been that close to the players as a coach, it's completely different when you become the manager, you know, and that is difficult. But he's done great. He was delighted when he got the job because, you know, although it was early in the season when Scott went, but they looked down and out. He's come in, he steadied the ship, and you know he's only got it to the end of the season at the minute, but after today, I really hope he does well.
Bournemouth battled so hard to get in the Premier League. Obviously, they were in the playoffs, got beaten the second year, then they went up. How hard is it, Paul, when you're sort of transitioning from a team that's been in the Premier League, been in the Championship for a few years, and to come back up again into the Premier League?
It is, and I touched on it before when we were talking about the strikers. It's you know, the teams that come up from the Championship, 9 times out of 10, Burnley are doing it this year. They're running away with it by playing attacking football. They come into the Premier League and they feel as if they can't play the same style. That's why I'm really pleased to see Fulham doing so well this year. Brentford, when they came up a few seasons ago, because they didn't change.
Yeah.
They didn't change what had got them there, whereas a lot of teams think that they've got to go from this free-flowing attacking, scoring goals in the Championship to really overly defensive teams. And sometimes, as a player, that plays tricks in your mind because you start thinking to yourself, do I really trust the process in this?
It's like you're not good enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I trust what the manager's telling me.
Yeah.
Last season he was telling me how great we are, how goals we're scoring, chances. Now he's telling me that he wants me to defend for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
What's he actually thinking? And it does put question marks in your head as a player.
Dakota, I imagine you're significantly younger than we all are. Do you remember when City went through the relegation promotion stages?
I mean,
no,
I've been told about it, but I don't remember it myself. No. I don't
would be nice.
We do, Stephen, eh?
Yep, got the scars to prove it, fortunately. Grey hairs as well.
Because we bounced up and down a few times until we got settled back in.
This fella made us cry a few times, definitely.
He certainly did.
Yeah, and
Cheers, Paul.
not always in a good way.
So we're expecting overall, Paul, you're expecting a fighting Bournemouth team, a difficult game, but if City take the chances, we should come through.
Yeah, like most Premier League games that we play. You know, I think an early goal would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, just to settle it down and then follow it up by another one, just so we can calm down a little bit more. But they're going to make it difficult for us. I think there's no doubt about it, as every team does. But the gulf in quality between the two teams is vast.
We missed chances against both Sevilla and Forest, and I'm hoping. But you look at the players coming today. Foden and Alvarez are two of our top goal scorers this season, alongside Haaland, and I'm not sure if they are second and third, but they're up there anyway. And like, to me, that seems an obvious attempt to address that. And I wouldn't be surprised if, knowing that we've missed chances, there's a real focus there and just putting the ball in the back of the net. I know that's really obvious, but you know, they have to take the chances. They just have to. And usually, it's like, I know the results weren't terrible, but sometimes when you need to bounce back, you just tend to be a little bit more focused as well. And I think City will be today. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Foden and Alvarez being really involved, because it's a chance for them as well, given their recent omissions and so on.
Yeah, I'm hoping we have an angry Erling Haaland.
Angry Erling.
An angry Erling would be nice today. So in terms of Pep's press conference yesterday, he specifically singled out Solanke and Philip Billing. Let's have a little look now and see what Pep said ahead of the game.
Hi, Pep. Bournemouth's win last week was their first since November, so do you expect to face a re-energised, revitalised side this weekend?
I saw many good things I like about Bournemouth. The game got a good results, draw against Newcastle, how tough it is, and the defeat in Brighton, but at the last minute. So, and they are so intense in. If they have done it away, imagine at home, so intense in high pressing, really, really good. And after defend compact, they want to try to play in different shapes. They link really well with Solanke, big legs in the wingers. And Billing with a huge quality. So I had the feeling that this season until the end, for all the clubs, not just for us, for all the clubs, every game will be so tough. I don't know why, but that is the feeling I have this season in particular.
That was Pep's thoughts ahead of the game. We were just looking at the scores from today's games, and all cooing over some of the, crazy scorelines in the Premier League today. West Ham have beat Nottingham Forest 4-0. Stephen and I just looked at each other with some sort of
literally what I said, like, they lost 4-0 last week, and then they beat... No, there we go.
Absolutely. Arsenal have sadly won again today, 1-0 against Leicester. And then at the bottom of the table, that big win for West Ham, Leeds United have also won today. That means that they jumped out of the relegation, and Bournemouth have dropped into the relegation zone. Will they know that now, Paul? They're warming up, but will someone tell them? Yeah, and they'll be asking. The managers will say they don't look at other results.
Of course they do.
The first thing the players do is look at their phones, or they find somebody, or they'll ask somebody to find out what the score was. Whether it affects their performance or not dropping in, I don't know, because I think they were just out of it in goal difference anyway, maybe. But yeah, the players will know. Now, we've scored some incredible goals at Bournemouth in years gone by. Honestly, when we were looking back at these earlier, some of them bring floods of memories for me. So we're going to have a little look now. See if you remember some of these absolute beauties. So the first one we've got here. Oh, it's Sergio. I'll always miss him. And look how lovely and sunny it is as well, Stephen.
Yeah, it's something about Bournemouth and sunny climates and nice goals. It's just, it's good memories, isn't it, Sergio? It's such a classic Sergio finish, isn't it? Unflappable in the area.
I never tire of seeing them.
That's
the
beautiful.
One for Sergio away at Bournemouth.
Look at that finish. Composure.
They're always beautiful finishes for him, aren't they?
Beautiful man.
They are. And I think we have another Sergio Aguero goal from when we played Bournemouth as well that we'll see in just a second. He got a brace in that game as well. Here we go. We're seeing that one again.
Poacher's finish.
Yes. Oh, I miss him.
I'd love to have seen him alongside Erling. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been wonderful? I guess Alvarez is not too dissimilar, to be fair, but is that David Silva? It was David Silva. Oh, this is a nostalgia day, isn't it? Longing for the pair of them.
Oh, definitely.
David Silva to Aguero. Two of the most beautiful sentences you'll hear in Man City language.
What a lovely goal, eh?
It is, and Sergio's just the best. I love this here because David Silva looks as if he's going to try and put it in his right foot, and Sergio, being the centre forward that he is, just nicks it off him and takes it for him. So that's what centre forwards do. But look, he's watching that there. He's the best finisher that we've had and that we've seen.
Of course, there's some other very, very famous goals that have been scored at Bournemouth. Let's have a look at this one now from Raheem Sterling. You remember this one? Is it coming back into your mind?
Yep.
Here he is.
David Silva again.
Beautiful. David Silva again, yeah. We were chatting about him before the show, weren't we? And David Silva, a genius.
Who was that with that ball, by the way?
Laporte, I think.
Was that Laporte?
Yeah,
Great team goal again.
his football.
Great touch, great finish.
Running behind, great finish.
That is fast as well, from the time that was back with the defence until it was in the back of the net.
We need that clinicism today, don't we? We really do.
That'd be lovely. I would much appreciate that.
I think there might have been a handball there from Raheem. That would have been given in these days.
Don't show that angle.
yeah. What are you talking about, Steve? Move on.
There's nothing wrong with that, but football team would rule that out, which is silly, given that nothing happened, you know.
I've got a goal for you now from 2016. Any idea? Current player on the bench today?
Kev.
Kev scored in his first season.
Oh, I remember this.
All the way back to 2016.
What a goal.
Look at that. David Silva again. Oh, I miss him so much. Look at that football.
Oh, gosh.
Beautiful.
I'm really hoping we had some new ones
Look
today.
at that touch there, the awareness.
But most players don't hit that first time.
No.
They take a touch, and Kevin's technique there inside it.
He's passed it into the corner, hasn't he?
Or they put their laces through it. You know, just passed it.
And look at that dink from Sergio as well.
Oh, yeah. That was,
look how young he is!
That was the precursor of what's come, wasn't it? You know, the season before, when we turned up with the Centurions. That was a taster of what we were about to destroy the Premier League. I loved it.
Oh, well, hopefully we're going to get another taster today, please. Another man that has scored that is on the bench today. Let's have a look at a Riyad Mahrez goal that he scored at Bournemouth. This is when we won 1-0 back in 2018.
Oh, this is his right foot, isn't it, I think, what I remember. David Silva again. David Silva, like.
Is anyone else getting worried now about the fact that David Silva's not...
Right, where is he? Getting back from Sociedad. We need him today. Yeah. David Silva assist against Bournemouth.
Oh,
it's lovely football. He's involved in everything as well, isn't he? There we go.
And there.
And there.
And there. Wait a pass.
That goal is David Silva, really, isn't it? Everything about it.
Yeah.
What a player.
Oh, Nathan Ake.
Oh, Nathan, where were you? He deserved his statue, didn't he? He really did.
He really did. Oh, I hope we get to say properly goodbye to him.
I know.
Today. Really do. So we've seen loads of great goals we've scored at Bournemouth. Really hoping that we add some today. Of course, you've got Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez up front, and I'm sure Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, and pretty much everyone else will hopefully have their eye on the net today as well. In that last goal there, the Mahrez goal, we saw Nathan Ake. Of course, Nathan Ake came to City in August 2020, £41 million at the time. He's made 67 appearances for City. Now, he's scored 6 goals, and he scored some important goals as well. 2.5 years he's been at the club. Stephen, it was perhaps a slow start for him, but he's remained an absolute ultimate professional. He's kept his head down, and this season he's been given a proper chance, and he's well and truly taken it.
He's wonderful. I met him recently as well, actually, here, doing some filming with City, and just such a consummate professional and gentleman. So friendly. He was chatting to some fans who had flown from around the world, and he was asking how their flight was, and really lovely. And you meet people like that, you want them to succeed, don't you? You want them to be wonderful, and he's a great example of, you know, dedication and talent and hard work combining to make this just beautiful footballer. And Pep obviously loves him for all the right reasons, and it did take him a little bit of time to adapt, but, you know, when you're fighting relegation with Bournemouth, to then go into the Premier League champions and change the way you're playing entirely, it's going to take a bit of time, but there's nothing wrong with that. And we've seen it plenty of times with forward players taking a year or so to adapt to City, and sometimes it'll take that time for a defender. But, yeah, I mean, I couldn't be happier for him. Everything about his game, his commitment. You never get anything less than a 7 out of 10 minimum from Nathan Ake, and that. Successful teams, they need people like Nathan Ake. You can't have a squad without people like him in it and still win trophies. Yeah,
and he's played at left-back, Dakota. He's played at centre-back this year. Do you have a preference for him, or are you just happy whenever he plays?
Just happy whenever he plays. When the lineup comes out and he's on it, him and Akanji, I always think them two together play really well as well. But yeah, I mean, he's great. They do push him forward sometimes, and he's great. He's great when he does that as well. So he's definitely one of the favourite players in our household, that's for sure.
Is he?
He is.
Your
Yeah.
family love him as well.
They do. Yeah, and he's just, you know, every game he delivers, he's just solid on the back line, and yeah, we do love him in our house.
And he's scored some big goals as well. I mean, we just saw one there as well. The goal in the FA Cup against Arsenal. Paul, that was a striker's finish, wasn't it?
It was on his right foot as well. You know, it was a great finish. But just to reiterate what Dakota and Steve have been saying, he's been absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it took him a little bit of time, but he had quite a few injuries his first season he was here, so it was very stop-start for him. And people are sort of saying he's only getting noticed this season, but whenever he's been called upon last season, he's come in and he's been excellent. Yeah. And it's just great to see him. That's a fantastic
beautiful
finish.
goal, isn't it? Really,
it's calm.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. But he's a calm person, lovely person, as Stephen said. But what a footballer, and his game management, his defensive skills. Something that we really need as well, you know, because we're talking about us all playing out from the back. Ruben Diaz being defensive minded, he is as well, first and foremost, and it's just great to see him getting around the team.
Have you got a preference for where you like him playing? Do you like him in a 3? Do you like him at left back, or where's your preference?
Yeah, no, I think he's been so effective wherever he's played for us. I think Pep likes predominantly as a left back because it gets confusing because he ends up playing the back 3 9 times out of 10 when he's playing that left-hand side, because whether it's Kyle or whether it's Rico Lewis, they're either bombing on, and then Akanji comes over, Ruben Diaz, and he can tuck in. So his natural position as a centre-half allows him to do that a lot easier than what a lot of other players would do. He can play in a back 3, he does that with Haaland. You know, he can play as an out-and-out left-back or, you know, as a centre-half. So just to have somebody that adaptable, but to put in the performances that he does, whatever position he is playing, is great to have.
I want to have a look again at the block from the Arsenal game. Do you remember the Saka block?
Yeah.
I want to have a look at that again because I loved this block, and I think it was a bit of an example of his kind of determination and you know, it didn't matter what was going on. It didn't matter if he was not letting this goal go in. He slips and he's still like, no, I'm still going for it. I'm still going for it.
Breakdancing.
He's crab walking across the side.
And do you know what? He's blocked it, so that's fine, isn't it?
Yep.
That's just wonderful. That's a desire to not concede a goal. Like, there's nothing in his mind other than that ball doesn't go in the back of the net. And Ruben Diaz is like that too. When you've got people like that who will put the body on the line for you, you've got a chance, haven't you?
Yeah.
Ultimately, we won that game that day because of that, you know?
Yeah.
Because of moments like that, so...
Yeah. So he scored the goal and he had that.
Oh, that was in the league game, was it? No, so I was like... No,
am I getting my games muddled?
No, we won both anyway, so I was right.
We've beaten Arsenal twice recently, yes, forgive me. Yeah, so Nathan Ake, big fans of Nathan Ake here, and of course Dakota's household, and I'm sure in all of your households as well. Keep your WhatsApp questions coming in. We absolutely love your WhatsApp questions. You know that I always think you ask the best, most imaginative questions around. We've got loads coming in already. Oh, I've got a lovely one from Colin for you, Dakota. I like this one. This is coming from Colin Lowe. He says, can I ask Dakota, do you play football? Have you ever played football? And if so, what position would you play?
Do you know, I have played football, yeah. I've played it as a teenager, and recently as well, I actually play with my mum. She plays football too, on a football team. In between the fighting, of course. But believe it or not, I'm actually like a left back, or
Well, there we go. Get on the pitch.
A left back. I normally get put at the back. Even when I was really small, really short, believe it or not, when I was younger. But they would still put me at the back because I was just like quite solid. I think that explains it now with fighting and stuff. But I was just a solid, like, the unit at the back, and they used to always put me there. So yeah.
I'm taking it you just got a very sporty family.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Left back, Pep. You've heard it here. If you get struggling, we found you. We found you a left back. Stephen, I've got a question from Isaac who says, do you think Phil Foden will return to his excellent form that he had earlier this season, and do you think he's going to score today?
Yeah, actually, I tweeted before the game thinking I think he might start today and have a bit of a blinder. And I think he's probably chomping at the bit, to be honest, for this. I think he was excellent against Forest. He tripped over his own feet when he went through on goal, unfortunately, but other than that, he was brilliant. He was so creative and beating his fullback constantly. I've got a feeling today he's going to have a really good game. I just think he's going to be massively up for it. And Riyad has been excellent, and so has Jack. So he's been on the bench a little bit more than maybe he would have liked. And this is a chance today to take a bit of a claim, which is, you wouldn't think Phil would have to do that given how good he is, but it's such a high-quality squad and high-quality forward line that even people like him aren't guaranteed football. So, yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to score. There you go. He's going to score today.
Hey, we like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
First.
And then one for you, Paul, that's coming for Grace. Grace asks, what is the best goal you've scored in your career?
I can tell you that one.
I finished it.
I think it was the only goal I scored in my career. Yeah, for lots of different reasons, it's got to be Gilliam, 99. Although I did score in the FA Cup, which I thought was my best goal in my career, a volley away to Darlington years and years ago. 98 it might have been. Friday night.
Someone whip it out.
Away at Darlington.
We need to find that one, yeah.
Volley from the edge of the box, but I didn't have many of them. So
Very nice.
Corner, the equaliser. Late on in the game it was, so we took them back to Main Road and beat them.
So we need the Darlington FA Cup goal the next time Paul is on. And don't forget as well, we still need the Needham assist that we saw a bit earlier from Gary O'Neill for the next.
Just any Needham mistake.
Together.
Yes.
Any Needham mistake.
Put them on together.
Together. Yes. Thank you for those questions. Do keep them coming in. I'll get through as many as I can a little bit later on. Of course, we've said already it is Dakota's debut with us today. We are delighted to have her here. Thought we'd use this chance now to find out a little bit more about Dakota. In case you don't know yet, you will. So, Dakota, you are a 3-time Muay Thai champion. Muay Thai. Crikey, Paul, what am I like?
I'll just leave you to it then.
Now, Paul, actually, you're a big fan, so you can get involved in this as well. You're currently undefeated in professional MMA.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit how, and I think I'm going to guess on your mum here saying, oh, you've got a sporty family. How did you get into it all?
Yeah, so my mum actually was, she was world champion in kickboxing, in Thai boxing and full contact karate. So she had quite a big name in her time as well. And that kind of carried on when she had me. You know, she's had her gym now for like over 30 years. So I've been involved in it since I was little, really. But yeah, I'm now doing MMA and 7-0, so it's going quite well for me.
7-0?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. When is your next fight, or what is in the works for you just now?
I'm 4 weeks out from my next fight, actually. So this year, well, I've been with a promotion called PFL for nearly a year now, but this is the first year that I will enter the tournament. So it's like an 8-woman tournament, 100k is the prize money at the end. And obviously, if we win, we go through to the next round. So it's 3 stages. My first one's on the 25th of March in Newcastle. So I'll be fighting there. And then if I progress onto that, I'll then fight again, like later on in the year.
Wonderful. Go on. Yeah, Rico, isn't he? He's got the boxing background. His dad owns the gym. Is that right?
Yeah, believe it or not, my mum actually used to train with Rico's dad, yeah, so they're kind of from the same time.
He's a champion, isn't he? He was an ex-champion.
Yeah, he was, and Rico actually can fight too. That's what probably a lot of people don't know, but yeah, he's really talented, and obviously that shows in his football. But he has, if that ever goes wrong, he's got his fighting to fall back on for sure. Yeah, as a kid, yeah, I have, yeah, and he's a very talented boy, yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, again, that makes sense. So you could see that with how strong he is on the pitch as well.
Streets of Radcliffe will do that to you.
So in terms of you and City, your whole family Blues, or where does the connection come?
Yeah, we are all Blues, like all the way back from my granddad. My auntie, my uncle, my cousins, they've all got season tickets. They're always at the game. They're always going away to watch. So yeah, there's no room for any other team in our family. It's just Blue.
That's what we like, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we like. Can you remember your first game?
I can't remember my first game, no, to be honest. No, I can't remember the first game. I think I was quite young.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to go quite a lot. It's just a shame that now, obviously, with my training being so serious and stuff, I don't always get time to go. But, I mean, every weekend is dedicated to City if they're on for us in our family. So we watch the game wherever we are.
Love
It'd probably make us feel old anyway, so I'm rather not know.
This is true, yeah.
Let's not start that one.
You're a big fan of MMA and fighting sports.
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for them as well. Obviously, I love my boxing growing up, and then 4 or 5 years ago, I was involved actually with the club, and 2 MMA fighters, one called Emil Meek and Kenneth Berg, Norwegian champions, UFC champions, and used to go and watch them train, and it was, I mean, Dakota will tell it was brutal. As in the punishment they put their bodies through to make sure they're right for the fight on that day.
Yeah.
We've done a little bit with Ricky Hatton as well, and I thought they would have been very similar, like with the boxing and then the MMA, but we were talking before, it's so different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, people think, obviously, MMA involves boxing, but it is very different, yeah, when you combine them together, like me coming from Thai boxing over to MMA, like my style had to completely change, so, yeah, it's totally different.
I'm loving how much women's sports are growing across the board this year, but especially boxing, MMA. There just seems to be a huge wealth of talent in the women's sport just now. It must be incredible to be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh God.
There you are.
Who's that?
I know. You wouldn't recognise me, would you?
Do you know which fight is this?
So this is my most recent fight. So this was November last year. And this was in New York, so that's this was my first knockout as a pro, this one.
Sorry for my lack of knowledge, but so obviously all I know is that UFC really. How far off is this in terms of level? Is there a certain league system or something like that? Or? Yeah,
so I mean, this is PFL are kind of trying to compete a little bit with UFC, so it's, you know, at that top level, but obviously if you speak to a lot of people, they will know UFC a lot more. But yeah, it's kind of at that top stage now where I'm getting close to the top.
No wonder after that.
I know.
That was fantastic.
I just need to keep it up now.
Yes, and you will, because you're saying you're in the middle of your camp just now, 4 weeks in, 4 weeks out from your fight. What's the kind of training like right now?
It's tough. I mean, I'm full of injuries and stuff, but, you know, that's the same in every camp. But, yeah, I mean, I get to this point now where I just kind of want to hurry up and get to the fight. But it's twice a day training, 6 days a week. So it's tough, but I love it. And that's the main thing. I think you have to love a sport like this if you're going to do it, because it's not an easy life. But I enjoy every second of it, so... Yeah. What
you must be putting your body through on a daily basis. Yeah, it's so fascinating. What's the kind of what's the dream? What's the goal? Where will we be seeing you?
I mean, you'll be seeing me all over your TV for sure, I hope. But I just want to be at the top. I think that's the main thing. I'm not kind of here just to take part and do a little bit of fighting and stuff. I want to get to #1 and be the best at my weight, and you know, that's kind of my goal. So if that involves getting the belt or anything like that, I'm up for that. But just being the best fighter that I can be.
We can't wait to watch. We'll have to get down to a fight.
Absolutely.
Yes.
25th, go up to Newcastle.
25th in Newcastle, yes. We'll be watching, we'll be following. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us all about it. Incredible. You can follow Dakota on Instagram, and are you on anything else?
I'm on Twitter as well.
And Twitter as well. Follow Dakota's journey. Now, it's a very special day today for one of our much-loved Matchday Live regulars. So we want to say a huge happy birthday to the one and only Sean Gota. Would you like to join in, everyone? Happy birthday to our
Feed
Sean?
the goat some cake.
Yeah.
Wow, that's terrible.
He'll be getting well fed today, trust me on that one. Yeah. What a guy. What a guy. Happy birthday, big man.
We love him. It's also Gareth Taylor, our women's manager's birthday today as well. What a special day today. To celebrate the birth of the GOAT, we have a very special documentary that is now available to watch on City Plus and Recast. What else would we have called it but Feed the GOAT? It chronicles Gota's incredible impact over the 99, 2000 and 2001, 2002 seasons. Here's a little clip of it now.
I love the song, mate. It's got a lovely little beat to it.
Gota! Oh! Gota turned. Gota scored.
I think the thing that made Sean Gota a fan favourite was his commitment.
It's a good pullback. It must be an equaliser. It's Sean Gota.
This was the game when it all sort of came together.
Oh, lovely ball. Gota! Gota makes it 5.
Genuinely, he knew exactly where to be and when to be there. And that's just pure instinct.
Although Gota's got the ball here. Gota's run it back and he scored. That's amazing.
And the best way I could describe it is if Sean went fishing, he wouldn't need a rod, the fish would jump in the net.
Gota, Benambia. Oh,
wonderful. Gota. Oh, lovely ball through. Berkovic. Gota's in here and makes it 3-1. It's Sean Gota again.
We absolutely love him. Feed the goat. Get that on City Plus and Recast now. We were just talking between the three of us just about how much we love him. Would you mind? Do you mind repeating what you said while everyone was watching that?
He was the best shanker of goals I've ever seen in my life, but made to make out that honestly, the unbelievable knack of being in the right place at the right time, and all banter apart, he was sensational. And I think people forget it. He had a little bit of a tough time in the first game, and how he turned that, and then turned that around himself by sheer grit and determination and work in the training ground to become the absolute legend that he is.
Yes,
I love him indeed. I think he should have played more. I remember one season when we came up, we signed a couple of strikers, and he was kind of sort of relegated to a super sub role. But even then, he ended the season with about 10 goals or something like that. And he's the kind of person who, any single level, he may not be the most technically gifted player, but he'd score goals at any level.
Yeah.
He's just so instinctively good at it. He knows exactly where to be, and I love him. Top bloke.
You probably weren't born then, Dakota. What a guy. You'd love him. We'll have to get you to meet him one day. You'd love him.
That same team.
Oh, yeah.
All right, come on.
Sorry, Paul. If you are just joining us, welcome to Matchday Live. We're around about 10 minutes away from today's 5:30 kickoff against Bournemouth. Your starting 11, you can see it on your screen there, is Ederson, Lewis, Akanji, Diaz, Ake, Rodri, Gundogan, Foden, Grealish, Alvarez and Haaland. That is your starting 11 for City for today's game. Kevin De Bruyne is back on the bench. Paul, less than 10 minutes until kick-off. How are you feeling now ahead of the game?
Yeah, super confident, as always. I don't want to put a mocker on it by saying that we're going to batter them, but I think we'll win. I do. And I also think that there's going to be a similar game with a different outcome to Forest last week. I think we're going to have all the possession, all the chances, and they're just going to be hanging on there fighting for their life.
We're going to be more clinical?
100% we are.
OK, I'll get your score prediction in just a minute. Dakota, how are you feeling now ahead of the game? What sort of game are you expecting?
I'm expecting high possession today, like you said. Definitely a win, yeah. I'm excited for this game. I hope the boys come out and, you know, I just hope they come out and do it.
We'll see an angry Erling Haaland, do you think?
Definitely, he's going to score today, 100%. I've got a feeling.
I hope so. I hope so. City need it. My FPL team needs 100%. It as well. Stephen, what are you thinking now? A couple of minutes away from kick-off. What's the confidence levels like?
Not confident, genuinely. I think I've talked myself into it the more the show's gone on today.
I always do that, you know.
Yeah. Well, start like an hour before, and I'm like, 5 minutes before kick, I'm like, oh,
it's usually this guy, though. He's always so confident that you always end up like,
You need him or Sean on every show.
Just to cheer
us up, basically, yeah. No, I think, to be honest, I do think they have something to prove in front of goal, and we've wasted chances recently, and that if City don't do that for many games in a row, we just don't, because we're too good, and I think the changes are designed to get a bit of a reaction, and I think they will.
OK. Paul, give us a score prediction.
I'll go 3-0. Comfortable 3-0.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Are you going to give me any scorers?
I'll go Foden, Grealish and Haaland.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. You're covering yourself,
three,
yeah. Love that. Dakota, score prediction for today?
I'm going to go 3-0, but I'm going to say Grealish and Haaland. I think Haaland's going to get 2 today.
Oh, OK.
I want a clean sheet for Ederson.
I want a clean sheet so badly. So badly.
3-0.
I'm going big.
Oh, my goodness, you make me nervous. OK.
5.
Oh.
No.
5. Tell me more. Where are you getting this feeling?
I've already seen the game. It's fine. Don't worry. It's happening. Haaland's going to score. Alvarez is going to score. Probably a brace for Alvarez, actually. Then one of the centre-backs will probably score as well, I reckon. Got a feeling from a corner.
Nathan Ake, maybe?
Yeah, maybe Ake. And he'll do a really respectful celebration as well, you know. But all the Bournemouth fans will applaud him. And then it'll be a late goal for one of the subs. So.
It's a very specific prediction, this.
I've seen the game. It's all right. Don't worry now. We're fine.
You got anything specific, Paul, that you want to add?
No, he's done it all. Yeah, that's what it is there.
It's going to be so wrong. It's going to be painful.
Clean sheet, 3 points.
Yes. Clean sheet for Ederson, 3 points for everybody. Yes, I love that. After us, of course, Arsenal won today as well, Paul. It feels even more important. We've got to win this today.
It is, and the players know. They've been in this position before, circumstances, chasing Liverpool a couple of years ago, chasing United all the years back. Yeah. So the club and the players know how to do it. So they will just be focused on this today, and I've no doubt the gap will be back to 2 points by the time the game's finished.
I hope so, because then they have their game in hand Wednesday, I think it is, against Everton. So this could be a really pivotal week in the title chase.
Well, because although Everton lost again, they're down there today, they won't make it easy for Arsenal during the week. So
they beat them, didn't they, recently as well? So
most important thing is getting the 3 points today.
It is. Dakota, thank you. Stephen, thank you. Paul, thank you as always. Thank you all for watching Matchday Live. We will, of course, be back at half-time talking about the first 45 minutes. Then, of course, we'll be back at full-time as well. We do very much appreciate your company and do keep your WhatsApp questions coming in. And I will get them through, as many with the guests at half-time and full-time. Go on, get some good ones in. Let's tax them all. We've got such a breadth of knowledge here. Now, you can get full match commentary for today's game, the only place to get your commentary with the wonderful Alistair Mann. Get that on the City app now. So, Blues, enjoy the game. We have hopeful, big, optimistic predictions around the studio, and let's hope that they come true. Enjoy the game. Over to Ali Mann.
Thank you, Natalie. So the Blues have a 5-point deficit to make up once again. With Arsenal's win at Leicester earlier, City are very much playing catch-up. The win at the Emirates 10 days ago took them above the Gunners to the Premier League summit, but 2 successive wins for Mikel Arteta